Her sweet, loving nature will be remembered, and sorely missed. I ended my eulogy. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. I had managed to hold it together, though I needed to pause a number of times. Hopefully people thought it was for a dramatic emphasis rather than because I was getting choked up. Nobody would expect me to choke up over a familiar, especially when I didn't have one of my own. The small body rolled forward into the cremator that we kept in our basement. As witches, we use the firing machine entirely too frequently, mostly to get rid of black magic and dark objects, but sometimes bodies too. There were wails of sorrow as Cindy rolled forward in her little wooden box. She'd been Meredith's familiar, and though she was just a cat, the whole coven grieved. Familiars are sacred and sacrosanct, and her death had sent shockwaves through us all. Something within us had fractured, and friends huddled together, eyeing other groups with open suspicion. They knew that someone amongst them was a black witch, and someone had been, but she'd swallowed a deadly potion rather than face my justice. Now the teenager lay in a coma. Rhea had made bad choices, but she didn't deserve to die for them. She was still a kid. I was going to save her, and then I was going to hunt down the witches who had targeted her and led her astray, who had preyed on her inferiority complex and her need to belong. Them I would happily see dead. I cleared my throat, drawing all eyes to me. And then I lied. I'm pleased to confirm that our suspicions about a black witch operating out of this coven have proven unfounded. A third party has been found, turned over to the authorities, and will be duly punished. Who was it? Melrose demanded, surging forward. Who killed our Cindy? I didn't have the faintest clue, but it hadn't been Rhea. I had another black witch to find, still nestled in my coven. I'm not at liberty to divulge that information whilst the prosecution is ongoing, I said instead. Rest assured, justice will be meted out. A wake will be held for Cindy in the Coven Common Room for those who would like to attend. My words did the trick, and I watched as tension drained out of people's shoulders, and eye contact and timid smiles started to appear. I couldn't have my coven divided. Divided we were weak, but united we stood a chance against the darkness lurking within. Besides, this way the Black Witch would let down their guard. They would think I'd arrested someone else, an outsider. They would be mistaken, and I would be waiting. There hadn't been one Black Witch in my coven. There had been two, a full witch and an acolyte. Rhea was the acolyte, so she was accounted for, but her mentor, who had slaughtered Cindy, was still not accounted for. There was a slight chance that the outsider had managed to get into the coven to carry out the murder, but it made far more sense that it was someone from within. Occam's razor. The most likely explanation is probably the right one.